Welcome to the Protagonist Pub. My name is Tammy, and this is where characters gather. It is a very gray Monday morning, and our streets are wet, so it at some point rained overnight, and it's supposedly threatening to rain today, so we shall see. We need it. So I'm happy for any amount of rain. How was your reading week? Hopefully it was better than mine. So, what did I read last week? I finished 3 books. I'm going to talk about... So, I'm going to mention all of them. I did finish Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. This is coming in a vlog this week. I'm not going to talk about it here. So stay tuned for the vlog. It's all filmed. I just need to sit down and edit it. So it'll probably be up Wednesday. I'll commit to Wednesday. So if you're interested in how I felt about Little Women, go watch the vlog on Wednesday. Okay. What else did I read this week? Since I'm going to want to end the video on a high note, I'm going to talk about this disaster of a book. In the Shelter of Hollythorn House by Sarah E. Ladd. This is the second book in the Houses of Yorkshire series. And the first one is A Letter from Briarton Park, which I absolutely adored. So I was very much looking forward to this. Hollythorn was so bad that I am probably not reading the 3rd book in the series, and I have another Sarah Ladd trilogy sitting on my shelves, which I am not going to touch at least for 6 months to a year. This book was horrific. So the book opens up with our 2 protagonists, Anthony and Charlotte, meeting on the windswept moor at dusk to say goodbye. Anthony is going off to America to fight in the War of 1812, and they both know that Charlotte is going to marry the man of her father's choice because their families are feuding. So, we have our star-crossed lovers. Anthony goes off to war, and Charlotte's going to marry. 4 years later, Charlotte discovers the body of her dead husband in his library, and thus kicks off the actual novel. So we are firmly in 1817 Regency England. There is no mistake about the timeline. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. It is clear when this is set. Charlotte is the mother of a 7-month-old son. Her husband was abusive and controlling. Her brother-in-law gets control of all of her husband's property except what she brought into the marriage, which reverts back to her. And so she takes her 7-month-old son and flees all the trouble in Leeds and returns back to the moors in Yorkshire. Unbeknownst to her, her brother-in-law hires Anthony as a bodyguard for the presumptive heir to the family fortune, the said 7-month-old, and Anthony and his partner head off to Yorkshire with her. First of all, the entire backstory setup is ridiculous for this novel. Her husband dies. She flees with Jules and her infant son. And it is, never once questioned by Leeds police or has any interest in what happened. She returns to the family estate and it's a crumbling disaster, but she moves in with her infant son and Anthony, and they've reignited, but they have grown in the last 4 years and experienced things. I don't want to give it all away, but at one point the baby gets kidnapped by the nefarious people in the book with the intent to do the baby harm if she doesn't return what they're after. Being the empty-headed ninny that she is, she rushes off to save the baby because she knows exactly where he is without a weapon, by herself in the dead of winter. Anthony catches up to her, and mind you, this is less than 2 weeks after the death of her husband. Maybe it's a month. I'll be generous and say it's a month. And whether or not she loved the man, he's been dead a month. He was the father of her child. He stops her on the moor before she gets to the location where her son is. And these two dingbats pause on the windswept moor to declare their undying love for one another and share their first kiss in 4 years. I'm sorry, what? Your baby has been kidnapped. You know exactly where he is, and yet you can stop to make out on the moor? Had I not already been really, really irritated with this book, that alone would have been enough for me to just lose it. However, this has been a thing all year for me. Getting mourning wrong in English historical fiction has just been a prevalent theme, unfortunately, throughout the year. And I have DNF'd other books immediately for it. Something was mentioned in this book. It's about 50% of the way through. And once again, subscribing Victorian mourning standards to Regency England. And I'm sorry, but it is wrong on every level. And sure, it's fiction, but it's also historical fiction. You didn't set it in an alternate universe. You didn't set it in a different version of Regency England. Get the little details right in your historical fiction, or don't bother to do it. Seriously. That alone was that should have been the DNF point for me. But The Letter from Briarton Park was such an outstanding read for me, and I enjoyed it immensely. And it was so well plotted and done, and I kept waiting for this one to approach that one, and it never happened. It didn't even come close. And then that kiss on the moor, it's just, I gave it a 1 star, I believe, on Storygraph. And I thought that was being generous. It was a very bad book. It was a very, very bad book. So, I'm on a little Sarah E. Ladd break. I need some distance. Yeah, I need some distance. So, that leads me to my last book for the week. That is All in Good Time by Carolyn Asfok. This is Catholic fiction. It is a contemporary romance. It is set in Pittsburgh. And I will tell you, this is in the middle of the Little Women vlog, so I'm not going to talk about it in great detail here. I will tell you that I'm time-stamping the vlog, so if you just want to skip to the All in Good Time part, there will be a timestamp for that. So, like I said, this is contemporary romance. We have Melanie and Brian. Melanie is a widow. Her husband died a year ago in a car accident. And she is now the single mother to 3 small children under the age of 7. And Brian is single. He coaches third base for his nephew's Little League team. And that is their meet cute. And I loved this book. It has a very important theme running through it, which I discuss in the vlog, so I'm going to save that discussion for the vlog. But what I really enjoy about Carolyn's books, and this is the 3rd one I've read by her, is that so far they've all taken place over the course of a year. And so it isn't an insta-love situation. It isn't a we barely know each other, but I think I'm in love with you kind of situation. This is another example from her of how love grows and develops over time. And in this one, they both overcome obstacles and challenges, and they do so together. And right around the 50% mark, they broke up, and it broke my heart. And I understood why, but at the same time, I was like, no. Hang on. I will say that the breakup is handled beautifully. It makes logical sense. And I really enjoyed how they ended up back together and how they worked their way back to one another. It was beautiful. And there is a side couple in this book that is Brian's brother and sister-in-law. And as is a consistent theme with Carolyn's books, the living example of the main protagonists influence the side characters' faith walk. And I love that. I love the living example of how you conduct your life in faith and just your everyday demeanor and responsibility changes and affects the lives around you for the better. It is a very good reminder. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I bought this book a while ago. It's been calling to me. Finally got around to reading it. I do know it is now available on Kindle Unlimited. So if you have that and you enjoy contemporary romance, this is a very good one. I will tell you that it made me cry. I will tell you that it made me laugh. And I have put her Christmas novella on my December pile of possibilities. I am eagerly anticipating her next adult release. I will undoubtedly auto buy it when it comes. I'm thoroughly enjoying her writing. I will tell you, this has the Catholic Writers Guild seal of approval for its faith content. This is just a complex but utterly relatable contemporary story. And yeah, it's a romance, but it's not a sappy, hearts and butterflies and flowers, kind of romance. It's a, hey, I'm a single mom and I have 3 young kids, and I'm in my early 30s kind of romance. Real life is a part of it and the struggles thereof. And it was such a contrast from the rest of my reading this week. And I finished it first. So, thankfully, I had a great reading week because of it. And Carolyn is definitely an auto buy for me at this point. Just she is. Maybe not, her younger stuff, because I don't really read the younger stuff, but her adult is an auto buy for me. I am sold. So, okay, that is all I read this week. I didn't get anything read in Dante. I didn't make any progress in my nonfictions. I did not have a great reading week. This week will be better. I am determined. I am going to start a buddy read that Amanda's already started. I'm going to catch up on Dante. I am going to finish a nonfiction. And I ordered a new Christmas tree. It should be here this week. I think for the first time ever in our marriage, Christmas may go up before Thanksgiving. And I'm not going to feel bad about it. Okay, what did you read last week? Was it better than mine? Leave a comment down below, like and subscribe, and I will see you here next time at the Protagonist Pub.